Next up, guys, we got Rodrigo Nascimento taking on Don'Tale Mayes. And this is a fight where, I don't like either of these guys. I'll just level with you guys off the rip. Nothing personal against them. I wish them both well in life. God bless them both. But it's just like, from an MMA betting standpoint, these are not guys that I'm looking to get behind at a very high clip. You got Don'Tale Mayes. Everybody was talking him up, talk of the town before that Hamdi Abdelwahab fight, and Hamdi went out there and got the job done. Obviously overturned to a no contest due to some extracurriculars on that bout. But either way, that loss to Hamdi, it was a horrible look. He's going for takedowns, flat backing himself, just doing things that were comically bad. The Augusto Sakai loss did not age well. I believe Augusto Sakai was cut off of a win. Andrei Arlovsky, that was a good, bounce back. Go out there, get the win. Definitely a nice win for Don'Tale Mayes, but that was a guy who is a much older fighter who's been around for a very long time. His chin has come and gone with the wind at times throughout his career. So with all due respect to the legend there and the former champion, Andrei Arlovsky, he's just not the same guy at this point in his career. Now, Rodrigo Nascimento is running it back here. He actually beat Don'Tale Mayes via rear naked choke in a bout back in 2020. And now they're going to do it again. They're similar age, but I could just tell you guys the truth. I've always thought Rodrigo Nascimento stunk. I bet Chris Daukaus against him. I think that's the only time I've ever bet on one of his fights. Let me pull up my previous bets on betmma.tips. But I believe, guys, that I've never bet on Rodrigo Nascimento. I think I bet the under against Alain Badeau. And then I think I bet just outright on Chris Daukaus as a plus 220 underdog. That's right. Half a unit against him. And that was a good spot. I've actually done a really good job capping Chris Daukaus fights for whatever reason over the years. But let's pull up my results on Nascimento here. Yeah, I'm 2-0 on Nascimento fights, so I haven't lost yet. No bets on the fight so far this weekend. Let's take a look at my Don'Tale Mayes betting results over time. See if there's anything to be learned there. So on the one hand, I have not lost a bet on Rodrigo Nascimento. I've not won a bet on Don'Tale Mayes. 0 for 3. I bet Josh Parisian small against him. I bet Don'Tale Mayes small against Augusto Sakai. Both bets for less than a unit. And I bet Don'Tale Mayes wins in round 1 against Augusto Sakai for a very small amount as well. So when you're looking at these guys, I haven't been very big on either of them, right? If I'm betting Josh Parisian against you at plus 174, it tells you that I think that you stink. And I think that Mayes kind of does stink, right? He just hurt John Jones. So there's Narrative Nation, right? The power of Don'Tale Mayes coming into this fight. For me, it's just a plus money or pass situation, dog or pass situation clearly here, because I think both of these guys are horrible. Who do I think the UFC would prefer to win? Well, I think that's quite clear. Rodrigo Nascimento, he's a Brazilian guy. It's in Brazil. He's still a young enough guy, 30 years of age, working with American Top Team. But if he's going to continue to rattle off split decision wins against Ilir Latifi and Tanner Bozers of the division, it's going to be a wrap for him. They're going to cut you off your first loss if that's the case. The loss to Daukaus, he kind of just got overwhelmed early. He was getting hit with the very clean hand speed of Daukaus. Daukaus had his confidence at that time at an all-time high. So I think that you could almost forgive him for that. But the way the Alain Badeau fight was going, just a horrible look. The guy was very competitive with Alain Badeau in the early going and looked like he was starting to panic a little bit again. Ilir Latifi on the back 9 of his career. Tanner Bozer has moved down to 205 pounds. So these aren't names that are jumping off the page at you as, man, I really got to get behind this guy. If he didn't have a previous win over Don'Tale Mayes, this fight would probably be a pick, in my opinion. So you've got 3-3 and 1 no contest in the UFC. Don'Tale Mayes against Nascimento, who's 3-1 and 1 no contest in the UFC. So these guys, neither one of them has really distinguished themselves, but the slightly younger guy who's training at the slightly better team in American Top Team, I would probably, lean with Nascimento, but I'd make him minus 130 or so. And let me just look. I believe last I checked, he was like over 2-1. Don'Tale Mayes and Rodrigo Nascimento. Yeah, so Nascimento, you're looking at about a minus 185, minus 200, depending on where you're looking, plus 170, the best comeback on Mayes. So I think this has to be a Mayes or pass situation. You don't want to be holding a minus 200 while Mayes is power humping your guy in the face, as has happened to me before. So I just think that this is a worthy pass or potentially an underdog spot, but I just wouldn't lay chalk with Nascimento. I kind of think he's fraudulent personally.